Happy New Year, Erica. How are you doing today?
Good. Happy New Year.
So 2022 was quite the year for not just crypto, but everything else. But today we are talking about crypto. And I was reading an article I saw on CoinDesk, and the head of that article, or the title of the article was 5 Lessons from 2022 That Changed Crypto Forever. And there's some very good points in there. The first one that we can cover is crypto does not exist in an economic vacuum. Erica, what does that mean?
So crypto not existing in an economic vacuum. While there are factors like FTX that did cause us to have market downturns, that's not the only reason why. I mean, crypto is a global asset class. It is very similar to gold. It deals with markets all over the world. I mean, you see price of Bitcoin in particular, and I'm not going to say crypto in general, but Bitcoin in particular, trading at higher prices in countries where people really need to get out of their national currency at that time. We saw it with the Turkish lira. We see it in Venezuela. People just needing to get out of their national currency because their fiat currency declined so quickly. So crypto definitely does not exist in just a crypto world. The larger economic factors in the world, really macroeconomics, affects crypto. I mean, the Federal Reserve has been hiking interest rates for some time. It's been causing a squeeze in terms of the dollars in the market. And we're seeing that affect crypto as well as traditional stocks.
And I've heard from people that I know too that, and these are maybe people that don't necessarily understand crypto or Bitcoin, was, well, where is Bitcoin now after what happened with the FTX, right? So
I mean, Bitcoin is still at $16,600, right? When you take things to perspective, the fact that it started trading at 3 cents and now we're at 16,000, that's still pretty good. And when you look at really what made Bitcoin fall down to these levels, it wasn't even FTX. I mean, it was market downturn. It was some of the bigger ones like the Three Arrows Capital going down, Luna going down, Celsius Network going down. These ones that were not so, let's say, intentionally malicious like FTX was, those are more responsible for some of the larger downturns than FTX.
Right. And one other point in this article that highlight that I found very interesting, and this can go for more than crypto, is leverage taken too far always leads to contagion.
Oh yeah, for sure. 2008 financial crisis is what happens, right? When you take one asset class, you leverage it to get another asset class, and then that's leveraged again and leveraged again. At some point, the dominoes do fall down. I think we've seen this throughout many markets all over the world before. It's just this crypto speculation. It was going to happen at some point. Now, I know point number 3 in this article, and I definitely want to talk about that, but leverage is not something that people who are not experienced with crypto should, or in general, people who are not experienced with markets should not really play with leverage.
So point 3, you said you wanted to talk on this, and DeFi is resilient, but needs constant economic and technical auditing.
So when you look at the lending protocol, so talking about leverage, right? When you look at some of these lending protocols that are math-based, DeFi, no human interaction, you put your money in and you get it out. You saw that system, it did not fail. There were no people that lost money during this crash. When you look at the centralized lending systems like FTX, like Celsius Network, like Voyager, Three Arrows Capital, Genesis, which is being used by Gemini, these are all centralized finance. So they do the same lending activities. They borrow people's money, give them high interest, and they also lend out money at a certain interest rate. You see systems like that being the ones that are hurting and have failed during market downturns like this. But the math-based system of DeFi has not. But obviously, DeFi itself as a protocol, as code, has been hacked. The smart contracts have been breached. There have been rug pulls by the core developers that have built it. So it definitely has its own problems in that any person can spin up a DeFi protocol. People will put money into the contract and that contract can be exploited. However, the math behind it, the tokenomics behind it, because you're not able to leverage multiple times, because digital assets exist online and can be easily tracked, because you don't have that ability to leverage over multiple times, you're not going to see a huge like house of cards domino collapse like you're seeing with the 2008 financial crisis, with FTX, with some of these bigger CeFi lenders. But DeFi is definitely here. It's here to stay. But from a technical standpoint, I would still be careful, just because it is code that is hackable in many instances. And I think it's $3 billion to date have been lost because of these smart contract breaches. So it's still wild, but I think that the intention is there, and as we progress in DeFi, I'm excited to see what this can do for the lending and borrowing scene that banks already have.
You had mentioned Celsius, and I just twigged someone that I know, and he had posted on social media that he had everything, all his crypto in Celsius. And I think a good point is to not put all your eggs in one basket. Does DeFi come in that well?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, when you're earning a yield on something, you have to understand that what's most likely, I mean, those people can't just get yield out of nowhere. They have to put that capital at least a little bit at risk to get some yield for you. And so only put in there what you are willing to risk. I wouldn't put everything at all. Also, the nice update about Celsius is it seems like their bankruptcy process is going pretty well. It looks like they're going to be making a lot of people maybe not entirely whole, but they're in process, which is good. I just hope they stop with all the lawyers and just stop the lawyers' fees, just pay the people back with what's left over and not let them eat into it. But I think there's a lot of high hopes that Alex and the team there is going to do something as good as possible for the people that lost their money.
Eryka, for those people who were in crypto and took the hard hit in 2022 or lost everything, like we just talked about in Celsius or FTX, how can they get back to basics if they still want to be in the crypto world and the crypto market?
I mean, the basics are finding tokens and projects. Well, first of all, Bitcoin. I know you and I talk about Bitcoin a lot, and Bitcoin really is that basic base level. It is like digital gold. Now, how do you hold your gold, right? How do you hold your Bitcoin? That is very basic. Owning a ledger or a Trezor, or a hardware wallet, a cell phone wallet, just something where you hold your own private keys. That's really back to basics. So no leveraging it on platforms, but something where you are your own vault and you act as your own vault and owning Bitcoin. I think that's something that's basic. If you lost money, but you still believe in crypto, dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin is a good strategy. If you like some of the altcoins, if you like to research, you like the use cases behind those altcoins, make sure that the technology is legitimate, right? If you can audit the smart contract, if you know people who can read code, have them read it and see, is there something real behind here? I think it's just really time to seek out like real world utility in a lot of what these tokens do. We saw in 2022, the NFT craze, right? These like digital JPEGs that were worth like millions of dollars. I think $250,000 at one point, Bored Apes were worth. And it did give you access to an exclusive club. So there was utility behind it. But at the same time, a lot of it was just a hype cycle. Like I like NFTs, but they're digital baseball cards, right? So you people who buy it, they like that particular player or that particular team or that particular memory attached with it. And that is using the technology of blockchain, but an NFT itself is not where value is. And so I think that if you do want to still stay in crypto, it's important to find projects like Bitcoin that have a real world use case of being digital money, things that, and then just other cryptocurrencies that actually are solving problems, because it is known, and I don't think really many people dispute, that the blockchain is the infrastructure that the world is going to be building on. Some of that infrastructure is going to involve cryptocurrency. It's going to involve tokens, and just making sure the tokens you invest into are projects that you truly believe in, that have good teams, that solve use cases that you're knowledgeable about, and just dollar cost averaging in to build back up, and then holding it in a way where nobody can take it from you. Putting some of it in places where you can use leverage, where you can get some yield. I think that's still something that people should employ, but just don't do it with all your money. Do it with a portion, do it with what you're willing to lose, knowing that there is risk being taken in order to get that yield for you.
So really, to wrap it up, don't go all in.
Don't go all in.
Well, thank you, Eryka. I appreciate that again, and I wish you a happy new year. And it'll be very interesting to see what 2023 brings.